Yeah, this is Synoptic and I'm doing commentary for Empire Total War. I play as United States with 5 legions of the United States, 7 light infantry, 2 household cavalry, and 3 light dragoons. The rules are no artillery, with huge unit settings and large cache. The map is Afghan Mountains. Notice the starting position of Alliance 1. I have put all my men on the right side. This is basically because most games I play, opponents tend to rush this side with artillery, even though I always say no artillery. Now thankfully my opponent isn't cheap enough to do something like break the rules. His current build consists of 2 line infantry, a guard, a general's bodyguard, and a household cavalry. So I'm going to commence my rush of this hill, even though most of his army appears to be down here. Now, one thing you got to do when you play multiplayer games is check out your opponent's army and check out if anything's sus, especially if you think your opponent isn't very good. Now, I always check my opponent's achievements and all that. Now, this guy's got Tyrant and Ogre, I think, which is 500,000 kills. I only have 250 or so. So this guy is no way inexperienced. And the first sus thing he does is send a household cavalry up here. Now it's already quite obvious that he's got units hidden, since he only has a handful of men visible. So I'm going to check out this area. That was my main objective, because it appears that there's a trap, and I was right, there is. And out pops out all these windbusche jaegers. Currently there are 5 visible. He's going to start running away, and he's got another 4 just pop up now. And I'm going to take advantage of this. I've rushed a light dragoon unit. I couldn't really get all of them, because he had this household cavalry here to stop me, but I've ran around. I'm using waypoints to get around them. So I did this initial charge against his windbusche jaegers. That one's already wavering, but also note the way he's allocated his windbusche jaegers. The second file would be able to shoot me, so it was my main aim to disrupt this one as well. So I rushed the first one, and I've already rushed the second one with the same unit. Now in come my other dragoons. There were 2 windbusche jaegers here in this forest area, and one unit got heavily shot, one of my light dragoons, but they're still fighting for now. Now he's advancing his main army. Even with all those windbusche jaegers, there are maybe 10. He's got another 3 windbusche jaegers with his main body, with all his linemen. And what's going to happen is, now I have no cavalry to disrupt these windbusche jaegers, and he's going to shoot at me. Now what he did with one of his units, even as I was rushing, was set up stakes. Now what this did was heavily damage my reinforcing cavalry. That was a very, very good move, I have to say. Did not expect that, and it got me really good. It killed maybe 30 of my household cavalry in a single blow. So basically what you saw was a trap, a very good one, but he did a couple of things which made it quite obvious that there was one. That was sending household cavalry into an area where he had no men, so I just assumed there was. Okay, now some results are happening. I'm starting to lose my light dragoons. At this point he's lost about 5 windbusche jaegers. He still has about 9 left. And now he's got his full reinforcement of light infantry. So now he has something to run back to. Okay, now from my opponent's perspective, you can see my advance is very messy. I'm just trying to scramble because he has windbusche jaegers all over the field, left, right, and center. So it's going to be quite difficult for me to take these guys down. If they're more concentrated, I could concentrate my approach, but this is going to prove quite difficult. These guys shoot at a rate which is almost totally unbalanced. It's almost unfair. They have less units than an average elite skirmisher, but the firepower makes up for it. Now this unit here of line infantry was initially supposed to hit the flank of this line infantry unit, but considering all these windbusche jaeger units, there are 4, and one of those will come back, so I'll make 5. Not to mention he's going to send some more of these windbusche jaegers to the fight here. Notice this unit here. This is the main one, which is going to destroy the line infantry unit. Before I began advancing, he used this one to protect his flank. So this one's going to be hammering me the entire time, even while his units are running back. Here's my household cavalry. This is my last cavalry unit, so I'm going to do my best to eliminate them. Again, he saw this coming. It's very hard to surprise your opponent now, considering the movement speed has been reduced in the current patch by 20%. So what you saw was the right body fight, and considering the heavy forces of windbush jaegers, I've allocated my men to cater to this. So as a result, I collapsed my left, but I'm also going to come back because almost immediately my opponent takes advantage over my placement. He starts advancing his men, but realizing this, I had to reinforce this area again. If I had these units shoot into my side, I would lose my entire center very quickly. At this point I had a virtually full force of line infantry. I charged them into the center of my opponent's line just to disrupt the middle, because I need as much protection in the middle as possible. So at this point I'm going to angle all my line and Legion of the United States according to the melee charge. I also have my reinforcement unit here. He started to advance again, so I advanced myself, but I ran into these guards here who will annihilate my line infantry. And there you have it. That was 50 guards versus 100 line infantry, and they smashed them. So my line infantry is now routing. So in attempting to voluntarily collapse my left, I've forced collapse onto myself. I've lost my left at this point. So now he's advancing his right body. And I become increasingly desperate to annihilate the middle. And I send 2 units to fight in the initial melee charge. Now as I reinforce my right body, I'm starting to collapse the enemy here. But also note that there is still a lot of windbush jaegers. There is one in the woods here who is shooting the entire time. I don't know the exact spot, but it doesn't show up on the game. You're going to see bullets fly out from the woods, which is going to be quite odd. So even though I sent 2 units to attack that single line infantry, both of my units are now routing. That is because of the windbush jaegers shooting into the side. But as a result, he also lost his, if that's a consolation at all. Back on the right side, I have an increase in numbers on this side. He only has a unit of line infantry protecting his left. So now the middle has busted open finally, which was my main objective. He still has this very strong force on the right, which I neglected. So I'm going to start doing all these melee charges, which is he's going to run away from. And as he runs away from him, he's going to be allowed to shoot them with his other units. Also notice this. What you're seeing is a guard facing the opposite way. Oh, it's very effective. He's shot into a lone unit, which is routing them. And by doing that, he's going to get all his windbush jaegers back in action. Very, very good move. Now out popped that windbush jaeger from the woods. It's at half strength, but at this point of the game, that can make a very big difference. And also considering I'm making a... So as he retreats, he's going to temporarily stop and shoot at me, but so am I. So I'm just shooting at him as he positions himself. Now that same unit from the woods is now coming at me. I actually think this one has run out of ammo. Now that's a major drawback of the windbush jaeger. You got pretty much unparalleled firepower, but they run out of ammo. So if you're going to do something, you better do it quick. So then these guys come to melee. Just a last ditch effort. And the other units are now routing. Okay, that was a close victory. The way his build and allocation was a trap. He had all these windbush jaegers on the far left and his visible body in the middle. I think that would be to make me want to attack his middle, because it appeared very weak. Only a couple of units were visible. So, as I would assumingly just run at his main body, he'd encapsulate me with those windbush jaegers. And if that happened, I'm pretty sure this battle would have lasted maybe 3 minutes. Those guys shoot very quickly. So, what made it obvious that there were hidden units was his small unit force and the household cavalry. The household cavalry was a very big giveaway. He kind of just ran into this area where there would be no aim whatsoever. So it would appear that he was trying to reinforce an army which was hidden. That was a very good game. Very good game to 1 Cu'Roi.